Hey guys, it's me, Toxic Free. Welcome. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been a bit busy with the salon. I like to make videos about things that I've kind of thought about and things that I've experienced, because I think personal experiences can seem to kind of relate to each and every one of us. And that's the kind of thing, when I first started my channel, I was looking out for videos that I could relate to. The educational ones, the ones with all the, information were fantastic, but I really needed somebody that I could say, oh my God, that's happened to me. So what I want to do is put together some things that I've noticed over time that have the red flags of a narcissist in a way that tips on seeing narcissism. That's what I'm trying to say. They're so subtle. They're so small. We know that narcissists are grandiose, they're entitled, they're selfish, and they're all these big words, but it's like, how do these words manifest themselves into everyday life with a narcissist? I've got a list. Grandiose, exaggerates achievements and talents, believes that they are special and unique, requires excessive admiration, entitlement, exploitive, lacks empathy, envious of others. We all know this, but there's a difference between those words and how we live everyday life, in a job, in a household, with a partner, with a husband, with a wife who is a narcissist or even has narcissistic traits. They don't always have to be a narcissist, guys. I want you to understand this. Abuse is abuse. Don't try and box them into a box. If you feel these points, or if you see these points that I'm going to come up with next, be aware and think twice. It's such a shame that we can't get these videos out to people that haven't been through narcissism before. That is them and this is us. And it's so frustrating because narc awareness seems to be, only going to the people who've already had the abuse and the horrendous treatment by narcissists or people with narcissism. We know that overt narcissists in a room full of people can be spotted like a beacon. We know they're loud. We know they're grandiose. We know they're telling the stories of when they went to Mount Kilimanjaro and when they lived in Paris, and they're full of crap. We know that. And we can see them a mile away, so we can choose whether to stay, whether to be, and whether to sort of like talk to them or deal with them, and we can walk away because we see them. Covert narcissists, now there's something different. A lot of people who are new watching this video, there is covert, there's overt, there's somatic, there's all sorts of different narcissism out there, but they all generally stem from the same kind of thing, which is what I've just said, the grandiosity, the entitlement, the selfishness. And the covert narcissist is somebody who wants to be kind of the grandiose kind of person, but they've got shame, they're vulnerable. They're also called a vulnerable narcissist, where they get depressed, they have anxiety, they haven't got that attribute that makes them overt. So they have the same traits as an overt, but for some reason they don't feel they have what it takes to be the person. So what they do is to get the admiration and to get the following and to get the love and to get all that supply that narcissists in general need, they manipulate to get it. An overt narcissist will just go out and just ask for it straight out, and people don't want to give it to him. He doesn't care, but the people that admire him and think he's amazing and he's high up there in the position of his job, he's admired because of his overtness. The covert doesn't get that, so they manipulate. Now I've just got a few little things that I want to talk about, and bear with me guys, because this has been in here for quite a few weeks and I've been trying to work out how to get my videos across so that I don't talk too much and I don't waffle. It doesn't quite work that way. I always end up doing that, and I have written some things down trying to kind of, you know what I'm like. If you've watched my channel before, you know me. And we know that a lot of the time when you're with a covert narcissist, you don't actually realise that you're with them for months, for years, because they start off with the love bombing. They start off being the best thing since sliced bread. They actually are the person that you want them to be. They will act the person that you want them to be. And basically, a narcissist, a covert narcissist, is the last person in the world. It's the last person in the world that you will ever expect to break your heart, to break your soul, to break your spirit, and to kill you virtually within the inside out. They're the last person in the world. And anybody watching this who has been there, the same as me, You'll know where I'm coming from. And that's why, after a while, the small things, the subliminal things, the covert ways, the manipulation, the lies, at first you don't notice them because we know it's a drip, 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 drip over time. It's the slow boiling frog. And in those moments when they are dripping, manipulating you, they're also training you. They're also making you act a certain way. We react to depending on who's in front of us. And that's what the narcissist will do, is there will be a certain person that we react. And after a while, we're trained to be a certain way. So like I say, this video is just about the small details that you can look out for. And it's not only what they do, guys, it's how you feel. I want you to look at how you feel as well. Because I think sometimes we are so busy looking for the red flags of them. We're looking for their problems. We're looking for their traits. We're looking for the things that they're doing wrong. We're ignoring our gut. We're ignoring ourselves. We're ignoring our fears, our anxieties. Now, if you're getting those things, first tip, if you're getting anxieties, if you're getting that gut feeling, if you're nervous, if you've got that kind of feeling that something's not quite right, something's not quite right. You know, I must admit, I've never really had a successful relationship. Now, most of my experience is probably based on failed relationships, which is pretty sad. Now, I've always thought maybe it is me. But if it is me, if I am part of the problem, then I take myself away from it. I don't force myself, and I won't force them to change, or I won't force the relationship. Do you know what? This is the only relationship that I've forced, and I think most of the time I walk away from relationships. But my last narcissistic, covert narcissist relationship, for some reason I did fight for it. And that's because it was covert. There's something in a covert relationship that makes you want to fight. And that's just a realization then, an epiphany moment. Epiphany moment? Yes. Most relationships, when you fall out of love or you don't get on, you can quite easily separate. But a covert narcissist relationship, you fight for it. You fight for it tooth and nail. And you know why you fight for it? Because you think it's you. Because you've been trained to believe it's your fault. The way they manipulate, the way they lie, the way they twist, the way they use context and ambiguity and subliminal, subconscious thoughts and minds and all that stuff that they use. They put the blame of the whole relationship on us. And that's why we fight. This is going to be a long video. That's why we fight for the relationship. And that's only just made me realise then that the last relationship that I put up with so much until I lost about 2 stone, and I was so sick. I was so sick because I thought, and actually now I'm getting triggered myself, I thought that I had the most perfect man in the world. I thought that this was the person that I was meant to be with. I thought that I was the one. And that's why I stayed around so long. And that's why I fought so hard and put up with everything he did, because everything he did was blamed onto me. So I fought for that relationship far too long until I made myself sick. Because I thought that he had value. I thought that he was value, because what he did at the beginning, he created value in himself. He made himself to be Mr. Perfect. He lied. He twisted things. He pretended to be the person that I needed and I wanted in my life, because they ask you questions, don't they? Oh, what was your last boyfriend like? What do you want out of a relationship? And they play the part of your perfect man. They put themselves in such a valuable position that when the end is on the horizon and you know that it's failing, you blame yourself and you fight to keep it going. The more you fight, the harder, the more they play, the more they love. Because your fight for them gives them validation. Your fight for them makes them feel special, makes them feel good, gives them supply, feeds them. Every day you cry and you ring up and you please speak to me, I love you, I love you. They're loving it because they've created you. I went off on a tangent then for a bit then, sorry guys, but this is how my videos go sometimes. Firstly, I want you to start looking at, do they actually value you? See, that's the main thing. And it will show. The fact that they don't really value you will sneak into the everyday life. Just things like, you know, if you have got this anxiety, if you're an anxious person, if you've got GAD like me, you know, if you've got trauma, you're triggered and you've had a past experience that you maybe have explained to your partner. If they're a narcissist, they'll use that against you. Watch out for that. But if they value you, and if they value you like you value the narcissist, because we do things to keep that partner of ours, as we do everything we can to please that partner of ours because we value them. You should be looking out for the person doing those things to you, doing every single thing that they can to make you stay in their lives, not with lies, but with real, true feelings and real, true love. Because the thing is, the difference between a narcissist and a true person that absolutely admires, adores and loves you and is in love with you is they will act differently. For instance, if you start getting anxious, look out for this. If you are feeling that maybe they are cheating, or if you're feeling that there's something going on, you go to the narcissist and you say, you know, is something happening? What's going on? I'm feeling like there's something going on. You know, they will have already given you these red flags, probably on purpose. If they turn around and get defensive and they start saying things to you like,
oh, for God's sake, woman, do you think I'm cheating? How pathetic. You're pathetic. You're crazy and pathetic for thinking I'm cheating. What's wrong with you? Is it because you're doing it?
Now, that's a sentence that's coming from a man that does not value you. Because for all they know is you could walk away. They know, that person who's saying those things to you, they know that you're going to cling on and say sorry, 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 because they've built up that value. But a valuable person, a loving person, would say something like, oh my God, sweetie, no. Honey, no, I would never cheat on you, darling. Come here, come here. Where's this come from? What's happened? Why are you feeling this way? I know you've got problems, sweetie, but let's talk about this. Oh my God, I love you so much. Because that's what's called value. That value is the fact is that person is scared of losing you because you're feeling that you're being cheated on and you might walk away. That's the value that you want from a person. The narcissist will accuse you of cheating. The narcissist will turn it on you and get defensive. The narcissist doesn't care to make you feel better. The narcissist doesn't want to make you feel comfortable and feel happy. The real person, the valuable person, the loving, caring person will turn around and protect you and make you feel loved. That's where the value comes in, guys. Please notice these things. Another thing, I might be jumping around here a little bit, but hey ho. Self-deprivation. Now, I know I do the same thing. I self-deprivate. And the worst thing about some of these things is that normal people do it, and so do narcissists, but there's intent behind it. My intent of self-deprivation is putting out my downfalls before someone else does. I will put myself down before someone else puts me down. I'll get in there first. The self-deprivation of a covert narcissist is to get pity, is to make someone say, oh, you're not stupid, sweetie, you're lovely, or don't be so stupid, that was a brilliant, brilliant thing that you did at the job. You're amazing at your work, don't put yourself down. I love you, sweetheart, don't put yourself down. You're amazing. That's the intent of self-deprivation from the narcissist. So I want you to look out for that. Again, the very small things, guys. The very small things, but these are the things that the default setting of a narcissist is all those grandiosity, the entitlement, all those words, like I say, and this is how they manifest themselves in everyday life. And this is what I want you to look for. It's like body language, it'll come through. But it's the language of how they speak. So remember, if they keep self-deprivating themselves and you keep giving them compliments, think about why. Are they doing it because they have no confidence in themselves? Are they doing it because they want to do like what I do, get in there first and get themselves put down? Or after you tell them how brilliant they are? Are they feeling better? It's so confusing. There's a very, very fine line between the things that narcissists do and the things that empaths do. It's not about what they say or what they do. It's the intent. It's the context within. And again, that is why we feel like we are narcissists, because we do the same things, but we don't realise we're doing them for a different intent. A big problem with spotting a narcissist is this. This is what I've written down. We should stop looking for the problems with them and focus on the pain within us. We don't make them act like they do because of us. We act like we do because of them. Remember, our crazy is not who we are. Our crazy is because what they are. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Shapeshifters, a chameleon, a manipulating covert narcissist. Again, covert narcissists will hide behind ambiguity. They sit on the fence a lot so that they can jump off to either side depending on which side you're on. You know, it's a context thing, it's an intent thing, it's a subliminal thing. They're very, very clever at not taking sides. They want to please everybody all of the time. They'll deny your emotions. They'll just deny you closure on anything. You'll have an argument with them, you'll walk out the room and you'll look back and think, hang on a minute, how come I feel to blame? How come I never got what I wanted to say? Watch out for your emotions being denied. It's a difficult one to explain because that's what narcissism is. But if you're ever having a conversation with anybody that you think maybe is a narcissist, or you're having an argument, or you're just trying to tell them something, they'll gaslight into saying, don't be daft, don't be silly. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I've noticed this in my kind of past, is they'll deny. You'll walk away from every conversation and you want to get closure in whatever it is we were talking about. You know, you'll say things like, oh, I'm feeling a bit fed up today. And they'll go, oh, don't be ridiculous. What's wrong with you now? Because they'll jump on anything that they can. Watch for that, guys, the jump. You know, a nice person will say, oh, what's wrong, babes? Are you okay? Or what's up, sweetie? You having a bad day? And they'll be on your side. But person with narcissistic traits, I've noticed, always will go things like, don't be stupid. You've got nothing to worry about. What's your problem? Oh, here we go again. I don't know. I know this is a vague video, but the narcissists are vague. This is the trouble. This is how hard they are to talk about. They'll deny your feelings. You'll say something like, you know, you're upset. You've just upset me now. Oh, don't be stupid. No, you're just saying that to upset me. You just want me upset. And I've noticed that in conversations with people. You end up comforting them. You might go to them with some problem of yours, but before you know it, they're using your problem to be wanting self-pity. And next minute you're there going, oh, I'm so sorry, hon, I didn't mean to upset you. Are you all right? And they'll go, oh, you just upset me because of what you've just said. I just feel... and then you'll go, oh, so no worries, don't worry, I'm fine. I'm really fine. And then you kind of walk away thinking, I went for support, but I ended up supporting them. It's their default setting. It's the teensy-weensy little things, guys, that you need to start looking out for, because that's where it starts. The denial of your feelings, the denial of your reality. They will just jump on anything that you say. If you tell them that they've upset you, they'll get annoyed. The fact. And I want you to start seeing that and looking out for things like that, because I know once we've been in a narcissistic relationship, you know, we know what we're aware of, and we doubt ourselves so much. Stop doubting yourself, guys. Please stop doubting yourself. These are real feelings that we're having. It's our safety mechanism. That gut feeling that we get is because something's not quite right with the person we're talking with, and we need to believe ourselves so much more. So if you walk away from a conversation that you feel that, hang on a minute, they kind of turned it round for them, or they blamed me, or they got defensive. Anyone who loves you will jump on your side. Put that imaginary arm around your shoulder. Are you okay, sweetheart? They're not going to face you and say, don't be ridiculous. Don't be stupid. You're all right. Not wrong with you today. God. They're sarcastic. A lot of narcissist people are sarcastic, hypocritical. One rule for them, another rule for you. Watch out for that, guys, please. They'll tell you off for doing something, and the next minute they'll go and do exactly the same thing. Don't get at them for it, because we know what will happen if you say, hang on a minute, you shouted at me earlier for doing that, and look, you're doing it now. Don't tackle them. Keep it in here. File it. Because you tackle them, and if you do think they're narcissistic, you know what's going to happen. You're going to get the deny, the defense, the sarcasm, hypocrisy. You're going to get it all. So when you see these things in people, just file it in your head. Backhanded compliments. Dress is okay, but, you know, it does make your bum look a bit big. I like the dress, but do you know what I mean? I can't think of any write-off, but you know what I'm talking about. The backhanded compliments that, if they were real friends of yours, they'd be a little bit more wary of what they say. They wouldn't want to upset you. Pity ploys. Now, I've written down here, the introverted covert narcissist may have a more gentle approach to explain why something is your fault, and they are not to blame. They might even pretend to be a victim of your behaviour. They pretend to make up things. They lie about things. They play the victim. They put themselves in a position to receive reassurance and praise from you. So they will play the victim of you, and then you'll have to say sorry, and you'll praise them, and you'll do all that to them, and then they'll feel happy. But they've created the scenario. And again, you walk away thinking, hang on a minute. Oh, don't get that. They'll make you feel unimportant. Rather than explicitly telling you that you're unimportant, they might stand you up on a date or not ring or text when they said they would. And then when you tackle them about that, they'll start saying things, I fell asleep, I'm so sorry, I've had a hard day. The falling asleep thing is a lot, is one of the things as well, guys. Please, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. See, if somebody really valued you and they did fall asleep and then they woke up, or whatever time it was in the morning, they'd probably text you and say, shit, I'm so sorry, I fell asleep. And they'd convince you that it's true. You wouldn't have to ask them, say, what happened? Why didn't you call? Because in that moment between they fell asleep and then you text them to say, where have you been? They should have replied, or they should have texted you. They should have told you why they... Do you know, are you kind of... I want you to start seeing things. It's so hard. I'm really struggling with this one today, but this is why I've been leaving it for 3 weeks. I've been trying to get it into my head of how to put it across. The value is the basic thing. If they value you, they will be scared of losing you. And I want you to start looking for that in a partner or a friend. If they're saying hurtful things to you, they're not scared of losing you, because there's another one around the corner. They don't value people. They don't value anybody. They only think about what their needs are. And this is what I want you to start looking for. It's like we're only looking for the big things. It's the little things, the lack of value. And I want you to look at what they do to you and think and do a swap and think, wow, if I did that to them, that would mean that I didn't value that person. Start doing that. Start thinking of their words. And if you put their words into your mouth, what would that mean? So if they got defensive at you questioning them about maybe cheating, and they said, oh, for God's sake, you crazy cow, why do you always bring that up? Think about you saying it to them. Oh my God, you crazy idiot. Why did you just bring that up? If I did that to somebody, I'd be scared of upsetting them. I'd be scared of them walking away, and I'd be scared of never seeing them again. Because when I treat someone with such distaste, it's because I dislike them. Think about that. I just want you to remember as well, when a narcissist is a nasty person, it's about them, not about you. They're crazy is about their crazy, not about you. And if you react, or if you take their bait, it doesn't mean that you're crazy. It means that you're normal. It means that you're a normal person reacting in a way that a person would react. And the thing is as well, look at your behaviour. If you haven't behaved like this, if you haven't reacted in ways to other people like you're reacting to the person that you're with, doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. Think of your past relationships. If you've never felt in the position you're in today with this person that you're with, if you've never had the emotions before that you've got with your partner or the person that you're with, if you've never reacted in such a way that isn't you, if you've never screamed and stamped and thrown things and felt like you wanted to go nuts and jump off something very high, or even stop eating like I did. The only thing that I had control of in my life was eating. So I stopped it. I wanted to control something and I stopped my eating. And then after a while, guys, because I'd stopped my eating, I then turned it into a slow suicide. I thought, well, I might as well just stop eating. And then when I die, it'll be because of my eating disorder. And I didn't want to then put my mum under the stress of knowing I'd taken my life. I wanted to leave the world under the guise of an eating disorder. I've never done that before. I've never felt like that before. And why? Because of the narcissist in our lives. Your reactions, your actions, everything that you are when you're with a narcissist, if you've not felt that before, then that's not your personality. That's the personality they're creating because of who they are, not because of who you are. If you say no to them and they fight you and argue with you and say, but please do it, do it, do it, do it, or push the limits, if they want you to do something sexual perhaps, that's out of your comfort zone, that's uncomfortable for you, that you don't want to do, a loving person will talk about it. And if you say, no, I don't want to do that, a loving person who admires and who loves and adores you will say, okay, I understand, no, that's fine, sorry I mentioned it. You can laugh about it and say, no, that's not me, sorry, sweetie. Because good sex talk is good between loving couples. It should be a two-way road, it should be relaxing, it should be fun. If you're being pushed into something, if he's punishing you after the fact that you won't do certain sexual techniques for him, or you won't do something that you feel uncomfortable with and you don't like doing, and if he gets angry with you, and if he then gives you the silent treatment or slams the door and walks out, that's coming from a place of greed, selfishness, a narcissistic trait, because it also shows lack of value. Most things that narcissists do come from a lack of value, a lack of empathy, a lack of compassion and remorse. They don't value you enough to care how your feelings are. They don't value you enough to feel bad for hurting your feelings. They don't feel any remorse for hurting your feelings, or they don't have any compassion for you when you are crying and hurt. So if they push your boundaries sexually, any type, not just sexually, just asking you to do something, go somewhere with them you don't want to go, pushing you into something you don't want to do, and you say no, and they fight you, they hurt you, they punish you, or they do it anyway. That's not right. Nervous about saying your opinions. I've been there. I remember with a boyfriend once, a long, long time ago when I lived in Bermuda. I didn't realise he was a drug addict. And after a while, I just lost all my confidence with him. And he'd ask me, like, what do you want for your tea? Do you want to go for an Indian or an Italian? I just wouldn't know the answer. I'm like, I don't know, you decide. And he'd get annoyed at me because, you know, I didn't decide. But I was scared because had I said Italian, he'd have said, oh, for crying out loud, you know. I thought he didn't like Italian. Or if I said Chinese, he'd say, oh, we had Chinese last week. It's like, well, why are you asking me? Why is he asking me? Because he wants an argument. So, and you know that, which is why then you don't want to give your opinion. You're trained a certain way to be a certain person, guys. And again, anyone watching this who's been in a relationship like I've been in, then you know exactly where I'm coming from. Your opinion will start an argument. So what? You choose not to have one. This is something that I want you to all take note as well, because I am on a lot of support groups, and my goodness, when I see the screenshots of the texts, there's one word that a narcissistic person, a a toxic person, a downright vile individual uses, and it's the C word. C-U-N-T, don't even like it. They use that continuously. And I think it's because they feel, and because I don't like to use it and I don't actually like it, they feel that maybe using that word to a woman is the most, probably most horriblest word, if that can make sense. They use the word that's going to have as much impact on you, and by screaming or texting you and making that word large and going, you effing, like that, excuse it, you know, that to me, it seems to have that impact. And that's what they do. They call everyone the C word. The amount of texts that I've seen on Facebook with that word in the middle of abuse from their partner, the most vile abuse that you can imagine, that word crops up time and time again. And I know these are weird traits of narcissistic people, but these are the traits that we need to look out for. Again, these are the small ones. These are the ones that aren't talked about a lot, but these are the ones that I've noticed in my experience. The C word. It seems to be the go-to hurtful word that they'll call their girlfriends or their wives, partners, friends. Again, make promises they don't keep. We all know this. It's like a future fake, isn't it? They'll promise things, they won't keep them. If you've had a bad day at work, let's say that you go home and you want to talk about your bad day. Oh, gosh, it's been so hard today. Fred, the boss, was just so rude to me. A friend, a lover, someone who adores you, will sit down next to you, put their arm around you, whether it be personally, whether it be an emotional type of thing, and they'll say, well, what's happened? Tell me. A narcissistic person, oh, you think you've had it hard. My God, I've had the worst day than you. I had the kids to look after all day, and I had this and I had that. Again, that gets back to the denial. They'll deny your feelings. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and the next minute you're giving them comfort. How does that happen? Critical remarks, jokes, things that they say that get you here. Things that they'll say to you that will give you a reaction of hurt, guilt, concern, whatever, a negative emotion. They, when you then say something to them, that wasn't nice. I wasn't joking. It's about planting seeds of doubt. It's about the training of your brain. It's about long term. Remember, I'm only saying it once in this video. When you're with somebody for 2-3 years, 2-3 weeks, I was only with my ex for 7 months and he turned me into a zombie. You see, this is what they do over a long period of time. They'll train your brain to doubt yourself, to make you feel like crap. And the more that they say to you, oh my God, your face is getting fatter. I just say, I know. But, you know, and then if you say, oh, thanks, that's not nice. They'll say, I'm only joking. You're not really, God, you're so sensitive. They will then throw the blame onto you and then take themselves out of the picture and say, I haven't done anything wrong. Why do you always seem to take what I say is wrong? And if this is going on for time and time and time again, and every time they say something hurtful to you, you ask them, say, why did you say that? And they just say, I'm joking. God, can't you take a joke? You're so sensitive. And we know all this. But I want you guys to know that it's training your brain over time to doubt yourself, to doubt your opinion, to walk on eggshells, to start not even wanting to say anything to your partner because you know that you're going to get the blame, they're going to deny. All the things that I've just said will kind of roll, and it'll be on a loop. We lose ourselves. One thing to look out for, if you feel that you're losing yourself, you're in a toxic relationship. They give you the silent treatment. I've had that done. I had that done to me on my honeymoon, which lasted, my marriage lasted 4 months because he had a baby with somebody else, which kind of, if you work back, it was just around the time we got married when he got her pregnant. For the story completely, but they'll give you the silent treatment. I've got a video of our honeymoon where I'm trying to crawl around this man crawl around him. I've got the video on and you can see me. I'll call him Peter. I'm going, Peter, Peter, are you all right, sweetie? Peter. And he's got his back to me and he just keeps walking away. And I'm pathetic. I'm a pathetic woman on my honeymoon. I'm crawling around this obnoxious control freak, trying to make him smile, trying to make him stop giving me the silent treatment, trying so hard to please him. And he's just controlling my ass and making me beg him to give me some crumbs. You know, we know what it's like. 1 minute we're fighting with them. They're calling us the C word. And maybe they get to that point that maybe they think that they've devalued to the point where you might walk. And before you know it, baby, I'm so sorry. I really love you. I'm so sorry I said those things. And you know, it's a bit like a drug to us. To get that love from somebody who has been hurting us for the last day, ignoring us, abusing us, devaluing us, and suddenly they turn around and say, I'm so sorry, I love you. It's like someone's just injected something into your body that just elates you and takes you out of that pit of darkness that they've put you in. And that's what happens. They do that. And they bring you back out of your coma. They bring you back out of that darkness. And they give you the love that you want until the next time. And that's how it goes on and on and on. They feed you the drug of love. They take it away, they give you it back. They take it away and they give you it back. Guys, if you're seeing a loop in your relationship, if you're seeing the fact that something they're doing to you, they're doing over and over and over again, and they're not learning. Because if somebody thinks they're going to lose you, they wouldn't do it again. But you see, when they do finally lose you, you're like a toy. They just discard and they'll go and get another one. That's who we are to a narcissist. So look out for that loop of behaviour. They'll ignore you, the silent treatment, the C word, the arguments, slamming doors, avoiding sex, punishing you. And then, I'm so sorry. The tears, the fake tears, the crying. I love you, I love you. I love you unconditionally. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so, so sorry. We're in heaven. He's taken us out of the dark pit and we're back in heaven. But when it happens 5 or 6 times, guys, it's not real. These are the things that train us to who we end up to being. These are the little things that every day that actually will bring you down and down and down until you end up a zombie where you don't want to speak. You don't want to say anything because you're scared. You're walking on eggshells. These are the kind of red flags that you need to look out for. But it's the tiny things that are so small, we don't see them. And it's those invisible, tiny bits of abuse that we don't realise. You know, a covert narcissist will cover their abuse in love. And that's the difference between an overt narcissist or just somebody who's nasty, toxic, and a physical abuser. You know, we see the abuse. We don't see covert abuse. You know, there's one thing, and I've said this before in my videos, that when my ex said to me near the end of the relationship, he kind of set me down. I don't remember if it was on the telephone or if it was in the same room, but I remember exactly what was said. He said, I need to speak to you. I'm really worried. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? He said, I don't know how to tell you this. I said, what? I don't know what to say. I'm like, what are you trying to say? Because you know, I love you. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, what? What's wrong? And he was like, I love you so much, but I don't know how to. I'm like, what? I think you're mentally ill. And I'm like, what? I think you're mentally ill. There you go. That right there is abuse wrapped in love, because you tend to believe somebody who's telling you it when they love you. Whereas if you're having a fight with somebody who you know despises you and they scream across the room, you're fucking crazy, see? You're a crazy... You know damn well they're probably saying it to hurt you, or maybe they just actually do really, really hate you. But the fact that you're being told that you're crazy by someone who's saying it because they care and love you, it gets in your brain, it gets in here, it gets inside, and you take it on board. And that's what a covert narcissist is, guys. Somebody who will abuse you under the guise of love. So I hope you've got something out of this video, and I do hope it's not been too long. And if you've got any more that I've missed, please put them in the comments below. Let us all know what these weird tiny little things are that they say to us that we let slip by, but they get in here unconsciously, and after a while we are just a completely different person. Let us know. Guys, I hope you're staying safe, and thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, stay strong, and stay toxic free. Bye.